Have you ever found yourself exhausted, trying to control the people around you, your family, your friends, your coworkers, or even strangers? Maybe you've spent sleepless nights worrying about why someone didn't do what you expected, or felt your heart sink when plans didn't go your way. What if the secret to freedom, peace, and a life filled with power wasn't about changing others, but about letting go? Today, we're diving deep into the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, a book that's not just another self-help guide. It's a revolutionary approach to living with ease and authenticity. So much time and energy is wasted on forcing other people to match our expectations. At the core of the Let Them Theory is a simple yet profound idea. Let go of the need to control others. Whether it's your parents skipping the family reunion you spent weeks planning, your kids choosing a career path you don't understand, or your best friend bailing on your latest group fitness challenge, Mel Robbins offers a radical solution: let them. As she writes in the book, so much time and energy is wasted on forcing other people to match our expectations. This isn't about giving up or being indifferent. It's about recognizing a universal truth. You cannot change who people are or what they choose to do. Your real power lies in how you respond to their choices. By letting go, you free yourself from the emotional weight of trying to bend others to your will, creating space for peace, clarity, and focus on what you can control: your own thoughts, actions, and happiness. This idea is so liberating because it shifts the focus from external chaos to internal empowerment. Mel's theory isn't about surrendering your values or letting people walk all over you. It's about understanding that trying to control others is like trying to hold water in your hands. It slips through and you're left exhausted. Instead, the Let Them Theory invites you to redirect that energy toward building a life that aligns with your own goals and desires. It's a call to stop fighting battles you can't win and start investing in the one person you can change, yourself. To bring this idea to life, Mel shares a vivid story from her son Oakley's prom night in Vermont, a moment that crystallized the Let Them Theory for her. Unlike the structured, picture-perfect proms she was used to from raising her daughters near Boston, Oakley's prom was a chaotic, unplanned adventure. Picture this: a group of teens in fancy tuxes and dresses, deciding on a whim to head to a tiny taco joint called Avocado Pit in the middle of a torrential downpour, with no reservations. Mel's parental instincts went into overdrive. She could already see the disaster unfolding: soaked clothes, ruined shoes, a night gone wrong. She was ready to step in, call the restaurant, or drag them somewhere safer. But then her daughter dropped a truth bomb that stopped her in her tracks. "Mom, it's his prom, not yours. Let them." Those 6 words hit like lightning. As Mel writes, when you adopt the Let Them Theory, you catch yourself when you're controlling people, and you don't need to be. In that moment, she chose to step back. She let Oakley and his friends navigate the rain, the tacos, and their prom night on their own terms. The result? They had a blast, creating memories they'll cherish forever, and Mel found a profound sense of peace. By letting go, she didn't just give them freedom, she gave herself freedom too. This story resonates because it's so relatable. We've all had moments where we've tried to control a situation, thinking we're helping, only to realize we're making ourselves miserable. Maybe it's trying to convince a sibling to make better life choices, or getting frustrated when a coworker doesn't follow your advice. Mel's story shows us that letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you trust others to live their lives while you focus on living yours. It's a shift from control to connection, from stress to serenity. Why does the Let Them Theory strike such a chord with millions? Because it taps into a universal struggle: our instinct to control others. Think about it. How many times have you felt hurt when you weren't invited to a friend's gathering, or stressed out trying to fix a loved one's bad decisions, or frustrated when someone didn't act the way you thought they should? Mel draws on a brilliant analogy from Dr. Amy Johnson to explain this urge. Trying to control others is like paddling upstream in a tiny boat, fighting a current that's stronger than you. It's exhausting, and no matter how hard you paddle, you're not getting anywhere. But when you drop the oars and let the river carry you, you find ease. As Mel writes, when you let somebody just be who they actually are, you realize you're in love with their potential, not who they really are. That's a gut punch of truth. So often, our need to control comes from wanting people to live up to the version of them we've created in our minds, not who they actually are. It's rooted in love, anxiety, or a desire to help, but it's a trap that keeps us stuck in frustration. This struggle is universal because control is often our default response to uncertainty. When someone's choices make us uncomfortable, whether it's a friend staying in a toxic relationship or a colleague missing a deadline, we feel compelled to step in. We think, if I can just make them see things my way, everything will be okay. But Mel's theory flips this on its head. By trying to control others, we're not just wasting energy, we're robbing ourselves of peace. The let them theory offers a way out of this cycle, teaching us to redirect our focus to what we can control, our own reactions, choices, and mindset. It's like switching from a losing battle to a winning strategy. Now, before you think the let them theory means becoming a pushover, Mel is crystal clear that there are times when let them doesn't apply. You don't just sit back when someone's actions are dangerous, like if a friend is about to drive under the influence. You step in to protect their safety and others. You also don't let people undervalue you. A 2023 Pew Research study found that 60% of people didn't negotiate their salaries, missing out on what they're worth. Don't let that be you. Advocate for yourself. And if someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, whether it's a family member who dismisses your feelings or a coworker who ignores your requests, you hold the line. As Mel writes, if somebody is continuously crossing your boundaries, don't let them do that. The let them theory is about empowerment, not passivity. It's about discerning when to let go and when to stand firm, ensuring you protect your peace without compromising your values. So how do you actually live the let them theory in your daily life? Mel gives us 3 powerful practical strategies to make it happen. First, detach for emotional freedom. Stop obsessing over what others do. If your friends plan a weekend getaway without you, or you're stuck at the wrong table at a wedding, let them. This doesn't mean you don't feel the sting. It means you choose not to let it consume you. A reader named Sufama shared on Instagram, "I've wasted a lot of time and energy feeling inadequate due to my expectations of other people." Detaching is like hitting a reset button on your emotions. It's saying, I'm not going to let their choices dictate my peace. Imagine the freedom of no longer carrying that emotional baggage. It's like setting down a heavy backpack you didn't even realize you were carrying. Second, let others learn through failure. This one can be tough, especially if you're a parent, partner, or friend who wants to protect the people you love. But Mel argues that rescuing others from their mistakes often robs them of growth. She shares a story about her son's school, which had a strict policy. If he forgot his lunch, they didn't bring it to him. The consequence taught him responsibility. This principle applies to bigger challenges too, like a loved one struggling with addiction. You can't force them into recovery. They have to choose it themselves. Mel writes, every time you rescue somebody, you rob them of the opportunity to grow. By letting others face the natural consequences of their choices, you give them the chance to learn, grow, and take ownership of their lives, while you preserve your own energy. Third, let people be who they are. This is about releasing the urge to mold others into your ideal version of them. Mel shares how she used to get frustrated with her husband's slow, deliberate decision-making process. She'd push him to decide faster, thinking she was helping. But when she let him be himself, their relationship found a new harmony. This principle even applies to trickier emotions, like jealousy. If your partner spends time with friends or colleagues, let them. It's not about ignoring your feelings. It's about choosing trust over control. As Mel writes, when you give somebody the freedom to be themselves, you see who they really are. This act of acceptance doesn't just strengthen relationships, it reveals who people truly are, allowing you to love them for their reality, not their potential. To make the let them theory a part of your life, Mel offers 3 simple yet powerful questions to ask yourself whenever you feel the urge to control. These questions are like a mental toolkit, helping you pause and redirect your energy. First, ask, what am I afraid of? Often, our need to control comes from fear. Fear of a ruined moment, fear of rejection, fear of things going wrong. For Mel, it was the fear of her son's prom being a disaster. But when you name the fear, like worrying about a soaked tux, you realize it's often smaller than it feels. Naming it shrinks its power over you. Second, ask, whose business am I in? This question is a game changer. If you're upset because a friend didn't invite you to a party, or your sibling made a choice you disagree with, ask yourself, am I trying to manage their life instead of my own? Focus on what you can control. If you're hurt about being left out, plan your own gathering, shift your energy to your own actions, and you'll feel empowered instead of stuck. Mel writes, when you stay in your own business, you reclaim your power to create the life you want. Third, ask, what feels like peace? This question cuts through the noise and points you toward the choice that brings calm. Instead of arguing, micromanaging, or stressing, choose the path that feels lighter. For Mel, letting Oakley's prom unfold without her interference brought peace. For you, it might mean letting a coworker handle a project their way, or trusting your partner to make their own decisions. These questions are like a compass, guiding you back to ease when control threatens to take over. Let's take a moment to reflect on why the let them theory is so transformative. It's not just about letting go. It's about reclaiming your energy, your time, and your peace. Think about how much mental space you've given to worrying about what others are doing. Maybe you've replayed a conversation with a friend, wondering why they didn't take your advice. Or maybe you've stressed over a family member's choices, trying to fix their life. Mel's message is clear. You don't have to carry that weight. By letting others be who they are, you free yourself to focus on who you are becoming. It's a shift from exhaustion to empowerment, from frustration to freedom. To make this real, let's explore another example from the book. Mel shares the story of a woman named Lisa, who was constantly frustrated with her sister's life choices. Lisa's sister was in a rocky relationship, and Lisa spent hours, sometimes days, trying to convince her to leave. She'd call, text, and even stage many interventions, but nothing changed. The more she pushed, the more distant her sister became, and the more drained Lisa felt. Then she stumbled across the let them theory. She decided to try letting go. Instead of lecturing her sister, she focused on her own life, her career, her hobbies, her own relationships. She told herself, let them. Let her make her choices. Over time, something shifted. Not only did Lisa feel lighter, but her sister started opening up more, unprompted. By letting go, Lisa didn't just find peace. She created space for a stronger, more authentic connection. Mel writes, when you stop trying to control someone's path, you open the door to real connection because you're no longer fighting against who they are. This story highlights a key truth. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care enough to let others live their truth while you live yours. It's about trusting that people have their own journeys, just as you have yours. And when you release that grip, you're not just giving them freedom, you're giving yourself permission to thrive. Let's dive deeper into how the let them theory can apply to different areas of your life. In relationships, it's a game changer. Imagine you're frustrated because your partner isn't as outgoing as you'd like. You want them to join you at every social event, but they'd rather stay home instead of pushing. Try letting them be. Ask yourself Mel's 3 questions. What am I afraid of? Maybe you're worried they don't love you enough. Whose business am I in? Their social preferences are their own. What feels like peace? Maybe it's enjoying your events while letting them recharge at home. This shift can transform your relationship from one of tension to one of mutual respect. As Mel writes, love isn't about changing someone, it's about giving them the freedom to be themselves. In parenting, the let them theory is equally powerful. If you're a parent, you know the instinct to guide or control every aspect of your child's life. But Mel reminds us that kids need space to grow into themselves. She shares an example of a mother who was obsessed with her daughter's college applications, micromanaging every essay and choice. The daughter was stressed, and their relationship was strained. When the mother applied the let them theory, letting her daughter take the lead, she not only saw her daughter thrive, but also rebuilt their bond. Mel writes, when you let your kids be who they are, you're not abandoning them, you're trusting them to become who they're meant to be. At work, this theory can save you from burnout. Maybe you're frustrated because a colleague isn't pulling their weight on a project. Instead of stewing or trying to force them to step up, let them focus on your own contributions. Communicate clearly and set boundaries if needed. By staying in your own lane, you preserve your energy and maintain professionalism. Mel writes, "You can't control your coworkers, but you can control how you show up, and that's where your power lies." One of the most beautiful aspects of the let them theory is how it applies to your inner world. Letting go isn't just about others. It's about letting go of the expectations you place on yourself. How often do you beat yourself up for not being perfect? Maybe you feel you should be further along in your career, or you're hard on yourself for making a mistake. Mel's theory applies here too. Let yourself be human. Stop trying to control every outcome and embrace your imperfections. As Mel writes, when you let yourself be who you are, flaws and all, you give yourself permission to grow without judgment. This self-acceptance is the foundation for true growth and peace. To make this practical, let's talk about how to build the habit of letting go. Mel emphasizes consistency. The let them theory isn't a one-time fix. It's a mindset shift. Start small. The next time you feel the urge to control, say when a friend cancels plans or a family member makes a choice you don't like, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself those 3 questions. What am I afraid of? Whose business am I in? What feels like peace? Write them down, keep them on your phone, or stick them on your fridge. Over time, these questions will become second nature, guiding you toward choices that align with your peace. Another tool is journaling. At the end of each day, write down one moment where you felt the urge to control and how you chose to let go instead. Maybe you wanted to tell your teenager how to dress for an event, but decided to let them choose. Reflect on how it felt to release that control. Did it bring you peace? Did it strengthen your relationship? Mel suggests this practice helps rewire your brain, making letting go easier over time. She writes, "Every time you choose to let go, you're training your mind to prioritize peace over control." Let's explore another real-world application. Through a story, Mel shares about a man named David who struggled with jealousy in his marriage. David's wife was a social butterfly, always attending events and connecting with friends. He felt left out and insecure, constantly trying to convince her to stay home more. This led to arguments and distance between them. After reading the Let Them theory, David decided to try a new approach. He let his wife be herself, focusing instead on his own hobbies and friendships. He asked himself, "What am I afraid of? Losing her love? Whose business am I in? Hers or mine? What feels like peace? Trusting her and building my own confidence." This shift didn't just ease his jealousy, it deepened their connection. His wife noticed his newfound confidence and felt more appreciated for who she was. Mel writes, "Letting go of control in a relationship doesn't weaken it. It builds trust, and trust is the foundation of love." This story shows how the let them theory can transform even the most emotionally charged situations. Jealousy, resentment, and frustration often come from wanting others to act differently. But when you let them be, you create space for authenticity and connection. It's not about ignoring your feelings, it's about processing them and choosing a response that aligns with your peace. As we near the end of this summary, let's reflect on why the let them theory is such a gift. It's not just a book, it's a roadmap to a lighter, freer life. By letting go of the need to control others, you reclaim your energy, your time, and your power. You stop fighting battles that aren't yours and start building a life that reflects who you are. Mel captures this beautifully. When you let somebody be free to be who they are in their best and worst moments, you get a gift in return, peace and ease in your life. This isn't just about others, it's about you. It's about choosing peace over stress, trust over control, and authenticity over expectation. This book hit me personally because I've been that person, trying to control outcomes to feel safe. Maybe you've been there too, replaying a conversation, wishing someone had acted differently, or stressing over things you can't change. But when you whisper "let them," something shifts. You feel lighter, you feel empowered. You realize that your peace doesn't depend on others, it depends on you. That's the magic of the let them theory. It's not about changing the world around you. It's about changing how you move through it. So, how do you start living this theory today? First, get your hands on the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Read it, highlight it, and revisit it often. This isn't a book you read once and forget. It's a guide to keep by your side as you navigate life's challenges. Second, practice the 3 questions daily. Write them down, say them out loud, make them your mantra. Third, start small. The next time you feel that urge to control, whether it's a friend's decision, a family member's choice, or even your own self-criticism, pause and let go. Trust that the universe is working, even when you can't see it. Mel writes, "Change your approach and you change your world." That's the promise of this book, a new way of living that's within your reach. If you're still watching, it means you're ready for a change. You're ready to let go of what's holding you back and step into a life of peace and power. The journey starts now. Take one small step today. Maybe it's letting go of a grudge, trusting someone to make their own choices, or giving yourself permission to be imperfect. Whatever it is, know that you're not alone. Millions of readers have embraced the Let Them Theory, and you can too. So much time and energy is wasted on forcing other people to match our expectations. When you adopt the Let Them Theory, you catch yourself when you're controlling people, and you don't need to be. And when you let somebody be free to be who they are in their best and worst moments, you get a gift in return, peace and ease in your life. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. This book is so powerful that one read won't do it justice. Keep it close, let its wisdom sink into your heart, and watch it transform your life. If this summary inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth book summaries. Drop a comment below. Have you tried letting go? What happened when you did? Until next time, let them and let yourself shine.